In this video, I want to show you how you can mass produce your comps and effects really easily. And by that I mean, if you have similar clips that you need to comp, you can do all the detailed work on one of them and then replicate all the effects, masks, track mats, etc. into the rest of them without having to do the repetitive work every single time. That allows you to automate a lot of things. For example, to prep all your clips, you could denoise all your footage, or if you have a specific set of layers and effects that you always place, you could automate that with this. You could also use it on your finished comps. For example, if you need to, well, renoise them, or add a slate, or add time codes, or add LUTs, etc., etc. Anything really that you need to add to multiple comps, you can automate with this. And by the way, I'm using master comps, which you can get via the AEBOS app. You might have to restart After Effects, but once you do, you should be able to find it in the window menu down here. Master comps. Anyway, I have a few masters that I did here. Masters are like templates. I'll get more into how to make them in a little bit. It's actually really fast and easy, but for now I just want to show you how it works once they are already made. So all I have to do here is select the master I want. Let's say I want to use this one that adds time codes. Now I'll select the clips, click create from master, and it will create new comps based on those files, but now they have time code. Another quick example are these clips, which have different resolutions, but I can make a master at my target resolution. And through the magic of, preparing for this video, I have this one here called 4K master. So I will select that. I'll make sure that the clips are selected. Then click create from master. And now they're all 4K. So I can start working without worrying about my comps being different sizes. Okay, so far I've shown you basic examples that do one thing, but you can also use it to prep your comps, so you don't have to manually add a bunch of boilerplate layers to dozens and dozens of comps. For example, let's say I need to do a bunch of beauty shots. Well, this guy doesn't need anything, but if I was going to do a beauty pass, I could put all the layers I want in a master. This could have all the layers already linked, all the effects already in place, and mocha. Obviously not tracked because each shot will be different, but you can already have all these other settings ready to go. I even put an empty mocha shape in my master, so all I have to do is place it correctly and track. All right, let's save. Okay. Because everything else is already configured, it already knows to which null it needs to apply the track and which shape it's going to use. So I just need to click apply export. And now this null should have all the position information, and the blur layer, it's already linked. So I just have to adjust the position and finish up, maybe adjust the mask, all that stuff, but it removed most of the repetitive part of making these shots. Let's take it even a bit further. In a lot of cases, if you have the same setup and everything, you can actually get to like 90 to 95% done with a master. For example, I have these shots with a green screen. I comped the first one, and it has a timecode layer, a letterbox, masks, it has a depth blur, and it has 2 copies of the source clip because I used one for this little picture-in-picture thing. If I had to do a dozen of these comps, and I had to copy all the layers, and then replace all the source clips, and then adjust the comps to the correct length, it would not be my definition of fun. Instead, I grabbed this comp and converted it into a master. And now I can just select all the source clips, choose this master, then click create, and they're basically done now. The length is adjusted so it matches the source clip, and all the layers are here. All I have to do are small tweaks here and there. For example, in this shot, she's not in the same position, so I just have to move her a bit. Or this other shot, which was made with a different green because it's actually just stock footage and this is from a different source. But all I have to do is resample the green, and then it's basically done. And doing these little tweaks is still much easier than duplicating the whole thing manually for each of the clips. Basically, all that I have to do is do the parts that are different for every shot, which I had to do anyway, but I skipped the parts that are the same for every shot. And yeah, I think it's pretty great. Okay. I want to show you how to make the masters, but before I move on, let me tell you real quick what these other options do. These 2 at the bottom are pretty straightforward. They allow you to specify if you want to use the timecode and duration from the master or from the source clip. These guys here add or remove text from your comp name. You can use a prefix which will go before the clip name, or a suffix which will go after, or remove specific text from the source clip name. For me, it comes handy when I have complex batches and I need to use several masters in different steps. For example, denoising the green screen footage helps with keying a lot of times. So for those clips, I'll create a master for denoising and then run all those clips through it. I will add a suffix that, just says denoised. And then all those clips come with a denoise at the end of the name. Then I use those comps as the source clips for, the final composite. But I don't necessarily want denoised in the name of the final composite. So I will move the denoise text from suffix to remove. That way, master comps will remove that from the name, and it will leave just the original source clip name. The last option on this screen is this dropdown, which tells master comps where to get the source clips. So far, I've only used it to create new comps, but sometimes I'm already using the clips. For example, in this comp, I already have a little edit, so all the clips are already trimmed and in place, so I don't want to create new comps and then have to bring them in here, trim and place again. And that's when that option comes handy. I can apply a master in place basically, so I'm just going to change the setting from selected clips to selected layers. Then I select the layers and click create from master. And now these are all pre-comped with all the settings from the master, but in the same place as they were before. The last option here is similar in the sense that it will replace the usage, but instead of selecting the layers, you can select from the project panel. If you've used the After Effects option called replace with pre-comp, it's a very similar idea. And yeah, I think that's it for these. Let me show you how to create the masters. It's actually pretty straightforward. A master can be any comp that you want to replicate. All it needs is to have the word master in the name. That way master comps can recognize it. I tend to keep my masters in a single folder just to be organized, but they can be anywhere in your project. The other thing you need in your master is to tell it which layer is going to be replaced with a new clip. You can do that with master comps as well, and yeah, it's pretty easy. Let's create a new master from scratch so you can see how it works. Let me grab this shot and I'll make it into a new comp. Let's start with something simple. Maybe just make this black and white. So I'll add the effect that I want. In this case, it's just a saturation. Then I'll dial it all the way down. And I'll name this comp black and white. Cool. So this is the end result I want. But now I just want to do it to all the clips. So I'll go to Master Comps. And there's this tab called Master Editor. All I have to do is tell it which layer I want to be replaced by the new source clip. And to do that, I'll just select the layer, then click this button, and that's it. Now, if I go back to Create from Master, you can see that black and white master is now on the list. So I can select a few clips, click Create from Master, and it creates these comps in black and white. I'll open them, and you can see it has the saturation that I just applied. And that's it for the basics. You can now run with it and create tons of masters. If you want to stick around though, I can show you a few more options. All right, let's undo and go back to the master editor. There are a few options that I skipped, so let me tell you about those. I'll open the black and white master again. These clip options allow you to specify if you want anything done to the source clip after all the effects have been applied. I could make it fit to match either the width or height of the comp, or both. You could also pre-comp it, meaning it will apply all the effects to the layer and then pre-comp that layer. Lastly, custom layer name allows you to, well, set the name of the layer. By default, the layer will be named after the source clip, but I can add a name here, for example, main, and the source clip name will come after that. However, I can check this to remove the original name, and then it will fully overwrite it, and the layer will just be called main. So I'll click here to update the master and use these settings, and let's see what happens. I'll select a few clips, create from master, and here they are, all in black and white. The layer now is just called main, and now it's a pre-comp as well, so it has no effects because they're in here. Also in this case, it scaled the clip to match the size of the master. If I had more layers, like on this more elaborate comp, it's the same thing. I just have to select the layers where I want the clips to go and click this button. I can either select all the layers at the same time if they have the same options, or I can do them one by one if I want these options to be different on each layer. All right, and again, if I apply this master, I get all these pre-made comps. And notice that the track and key and everything is all set. And that's it. It's not complicated, but it can save a lot of time and so much repetitive work. I've used it a lot over the last couple of years, and I hope it serves you well. You can get master comps from the link in the description. Also, check out the other videos and extensions. There are some other cool things that can save you lots of time in After Effects. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.